we have the pleasure and honor of having John Wetmore on the call. If y'all could give him a thumbs up, make that thing pop up on the screen, and just listen, because he, again, one of the best in the business at doing what he does, and definitely, if not the best, in the top two, because I can't really ever put anybody above Sean at explaining stuff to people and getting them to truly understand it. So, dude, I'm honored and excited to have you on the call. I'll be here, but there's nobody better to rip than you.
Well, cool. I appreciate you having me on. We can kind of go any direction y'all want with this. As always, I tell people, if you have questions along the way, feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll see them when I can see them. Or if there's anything good, Frankie, just kind of stop me and let me know. Because I will just kind of let it rip. I haven't prepared anything on purpose, because I figure I know what people need. You know, you kind of see the leaderboards, man. And I remember early on, I'll say this, when we first started at FFL, I get lumped in with all of y'all that were here with Sean prior to. The first convention was in Atlanta in 2015. It was the beginning of 2015. 2014 was the first full year, and we had our first convention here. And I was just a dude in the crowd at that event. I was not nobody. I was just the part-time accountant kid that worked with Mike and them, you know. So nobody really knew me. And when I got there, I saw folks on stage, you know, that were making great money. Frankie was one of the ones speaking on stage. I learned how to do cashback mortgage protection that year, bro. And I lit it up in 2015 selling that. I sold the mother effing snot out of that product when I learned that from you, and I learned other things from other people. But I say all that to say, like, I feel like I was, if not the first, one of the very first products of the FFL system, because I was not on stage at that part of my career. I was just kind of here, and because my Archie came, you know what I mean? I was sort of along for the ride. So I have been here since the very first day that the company was created. My agent number, that Americo number, FFL 013. So I was the 13th person contracted here originally. So, you know, I've seen a lot of stuff, and I've made a lot of mistakes, and I try to do my best to just share what I've learned and how I've learned it. And you know, that first year, man, what I really learned coming into that year is I got my license in 2010, March of 2010. That event was January, February, or whatever of 2015. So I spent 5 years, and I was not on the top of anybody's leaderboard in those first 5 years. That first year we were in business, 2014, my team total for the year, Frankie, all of 2014 was 179,000 for the year for my whole team. And John Wetmore issue paid was like 170 of it. So the team did it was like 6 people. It took 6 people to issue another $9,000 for the year. And I made a crack over 100 grand that year. And at Leeds, I probably netted 80 grand. But I remember seeing y'all on stage, and a lot of you guys were making multiple 6 figures. And I remember going, not only do I want that, I want to be on that stage. I want what they got. And I never believed that I couldn't figure it out if y'all were just willing to keep sharing all the stuff that you were saying. You know, so I just learned that I had to stop thinking the way I was thinking, because that had got me nowhere in the first 5 years in the space. In fact, hell, the first time I dialed, I quit for 2 years. I share that a lot. I think I made like $30 or $40 my first dial session. Everyone hung up on me, and I went back to my accounting job for 2 years. And I didn't come back in till I sold my first it took me 2.5 years to sell my first policy. So from March of 2010, I didn't sell my first policy till August of 2012. Yeah, I was a killer, bro, from the jump. And I think a lot of people miss that, you know. And what I would say is I realized pretty quickly after that first event, thankful to you and some others that were willing to have conversations with me, kind of told me I wasn't doing what it took, you know. And for me, when I looked at what I was doing and how many appointments I was running, I'll never forget, dude, and I share this all the time just because it still sits with me to this day. After Mark spoke that year, and I got to ask him, I couldn't figure out how to go from like 12 to 14K. I didn't know how to get to 20. I just didn't know how to. I was like, What step am I missing? What leads do I buy? What time do I call them? What area do you run? What time? And I was that analytical, overthinking everything, dude. And when I started looking at kind of behind the scenes of what y'all were doing, I realized although y'all were better at sales, you were calling and speaking to and presenting to significantly more people than I was. And I wasn't afraid of hard work in my life. I mean, I had my first kid at 16, but I've been working hard since I was in high school. Like working 70 hours a week is just what I've done my whole life. I didn't know any better. For some reason, when I came here, I don't know, man. If I got 10 leads, I didn't understand why all 10 didn't pick up and buy insurance for some unknown reason. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are laughing, but I'm like, y'all mother effers do it too. You know? And so I had to have a reality check, dude. And I looked at kind of where my numbers were at. And when I wrote the book, I put a lot of this stuff out there that I think being analytical helped me in a way that when I looked at my first year, which was part-time, I was only making like $5,000 a month, Frankie, at the time. And, but I was only making like 300 phone calls a month, like a month, which was like 75, maybe 100 a week on a busy week. You know what I mean? A lot of people do that crap and they're confused. When I started looking at stuff, I was like, all right, that's really bad. But somehow, dude, the accountant in me came out and I decided to look at the $5,000 relative to how many phone calls I made. And I think it's the 4th chapter in the book. It's called 17, the number that changed my life. And I learned that $300 divided into $5,000, whatever the math is, it came out to $17 every time I made a phone call. If I deposit $5,000 and I made X amount of phone calls, to me the math just said every time I called someone I made $17. And I used to get really frustrated by being hung up on, or being told no, or being told whatever, getting whatever objection you all get, getting the door slammed in our face back in the day before telesales. And that stuff I used to like legit lose my mind, bro. Like mentally, I would break down. And the day I realized I made $17 every time I called someone, and that was inclusive of all the shit I was used to dealing with. Like that included the chargebacks, it included the no-shows, it included all the stuff because it was an activity and it was a deposit number. I was like, wait, that dude that hung up on me and told me to F off, I still made $17 in my head. And this whole journey for me has been me tricking myself into activity equals a deposit. I may not make the deposit today. That's why I still work. Do people still ask you why you work so hard after the integrity thing? People still ask why I work. I'm like, activity equals deposit. Still to me. I just may not get the deposit today. You know, and that simple concept is what catapulted my career here, dude. And I just turned.
You know what Jamie said to me, Wetmore, the other day?
Huh.
We had somebody whine about they work 2 or 3 days without making a sale. And she's like, dude, like no businesses pay weekly anymore. It's all biweekly. So you work 2 weeks straight, don't get paid.
Correct. 100%.
And I'm going like, dude, I never thought, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's wild to me.
Yeah. Or you hear people that want consistent money. So I'm going to get a job. I'm like, yo, it's pretty damn consistent when you pick up the phone and sell every day. You get paid every day. Like you can have consistent and guaranteed money here too. You know, and I come from employee mindset. I was employee for 20 years before I did nothing sales. I never did anything like this. I played in the mortgage industry for half a minute when it was all refinances. But I lost everything during that stage. I won't get into that. But I say all that to say, when I turned this thing into a numbers game, what that did for me, Frankie, was it removed the emotion. I stopped caring about the emotion in the moment, because I convinced myself that moment still paid me. You know, I just can convince myself of that. And you know, once I understood that activity equaled money, for me, then I started looking at what activities don't make me money. Things like watching TV and football and sleeping in and all those things. And I decided to give those things up, because once I understood that a phone call equaled money, I had a really hard time not making phone calls after that. I just felt bad and I felt guilty that I was sitting around not making money. You know, even though, again, you may not get the deposit necessarily that day. So for me, I just started going at this thing at a different level. I decided that I was going to be the first one on dials. I decided I was going to be the last one on dials if I had to be. And I decided I was just going to run more appointments than anyone else around me, no matter what it took. Because then one day I did the math on appointments, bro. Every time I booked an appointment, I learned it equaled $300 in my pocket. That's just what the math said. So I'm like, yo, if I book 10K a week, Sean started screaming that at us years ago. I was like, all right, well, 30 appointments, $300, 10K, easy math. Let me just go play that game. So what changed for me in 2015, going from very mediocre for 5 years to hitting and actually kind of smashing, not very Hall of Fame. I say smash. I did 468 or whatever that year, back before it was cool. Now some people do it in a month, but back then there were only like 5 of us that did it. And I started going, all right, how do I make this a game? And I figured out that that year I wanted to make 250 grand going into 2015. I was like, that's my goal. How can I reverse engineer it? And I said, all right, $1,000 an app. I need 250 apps. It's not that deep, common sense. How do I get 250 apps? Well, if I got a 25% close ratio, I got to see 1,000 people. See 1,000 people, close 25% of them. That's 250 people over the course of the year. But I don't see everybody I book. So I better bake that in. For me to see 1,000, I better book 1,500. So if I book 1,500, see 1,000, close 250, great year, I make 250 G's. What I didn't know, Frankie, was when you do a lot of reps, you get really freaking good. And then momentum starts to kick in. And I took like 400 and something apps that year instead of the 250. So I messed up and overshot my goal by 200 grand. And I didn't have a great closing ratio. I still don't. I'm going to share my numbers now from telesales, dude. My close ratio is ass relative to people you see on Instagram pretending they close everybody. But that catapulted me into just a different level of income. And then I looked at it and I was like, no offense to all the people who train really good on the 17 sales steps to success and all that shit. I was like, why didn't nobody tell me it was more about the activity before? Even though some of y'all said it, it just never hit for me. It didn't click. And that's what really catapulted the growth of the agency too. People see a ding dong like me going out and knocking down $500,000, and I'm like, and they're like, how'd you do it? I'm like, I just did the same thing I did last year where I sucked. I just sucked more often, and I sucked every day, and I didn't take any days off. I just sucked every day of the year. I sucked 14 times more than you last year, which meant I tripped over more sales. And I was okay with that, dude. I'm not the guy that's trying to get 90% to show up. I'm not trying to get a 90. Now I want my shit to stick on the books. That I figured out how to do too. But I don't have to sell everyone. And y'all don't either. And I think that's something that people misinterpret really bad, dude. And it's cool to watch people on Instagram. And there's some people in here who probably have really high close ratios. I ain't mad at them. I give them a high five and I get the hell out of their way. That ain't John Wetmore. I'll answer that in a little bit, Adam. How to stick? Are you the same Adam that DMs me on Facebook? You the same guy, Adam Ellis? That name sounds familiar. Anyway, so for me, once I understood and I could make this a game, it was like Monopoly to me. I played Monopoly as a kid, bro, and my whole strategy was buy everything I land on. I didn't have to. Some people only buy it if they only buy the green one if they already have a green one. You know what I mean? They only buy the blue one if they already got, and everybody only wants park. I'm like, nah, if I land on it, I'm buying it. Why? If I own more of the board, you're more likely to land on my shit and pay me rent. And this became that for me. And when it became a game of numbers, and it's not that I don't care for clients and I'm not confused on what we do and how it helps people, all that's there. But being honest, if that thing paid minimum wage, I wouldn't do this. So the care was not at the top of the list for me. It was potential to change my family situation, and that's all I've taught, dude. I can teach people sales. I can teach people how to get business to stick. But what I've learned, man, is if you only talk in today's world, if you're only talking to a few people a day, you're going to be broke forever. You will be broke forever if you only speak to a few people a day in this space. I just don't know how to say it more clearly. If you aren't presenting 6, 7, 8+ times a day, again, I'm not talking to y'all outliers and those ones over there. Y'all do you. For the rest of us, normal human beings, If you ain't presenting 6, 7, 8 times a day, you're not playing the game right. I promise you're not. You're just, especially if you're not good. If you're not good, you got to do more. Hell, the people that are killing it are trying to do 6, 7, 8 presentations a day. So if you're mediocre and you're talking to 2 people on Monday and 1 on Tuesday and none on Wednesday and 2 on Thursday, dude, this is you'll make a few bucks, but it's going to be really inconsistent for the rest of time. That's what I've learned, Frankie. You're not getting out of it. And again, for the one person who says he can, I don't know. What do you want me to do? Like, some people can dunk from the free throw line, dude. I'm not one of them. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be. So I say all that to kind of preface for those that are confused that I'm very big on activity. If you can see the hoodies, like do more, and GSD is the nice version of just get some. I saw a kid in here, so I'll try to be careful. Just get some stuff done. Y'all know my language, right? And I believe in that, and it's worked for me, and it's attracted a lot of people, and I've helped a lot of people get really rich in this space, just tricking them mentally to find a way to do more activity that counts. And some of y'all do activity that doesn't count. Don't be sorry about little ones. I love babies. I'd rather be on here talking to the babies. So don't make the babies. The babies are good. Babies are always allowed when I'm on. Always. They can unmute. They can scream. I don't care. They can throw up on the screen. The babies are not going to be a problem. I have 5 of them, and they're all grown assholes now, and I miss babies. So let them be here.
For those of you that have followed me for a while, you know I've helped build this agency up to over $200 million in paid annual premium per year. We have over 5,000 agents a year that sell, and I am rebuilding. We're building a new base shop, helping people build big agencies, get to multi 7 figures in income, or producers that want to just sell and get to a multi 6-figure sales career. Hit me up. I'm hiring direct. I'm looking to train and mentor winners that want to work their ass off and build something dope. Click on the link below, or you can go to johnwetmore.com/join and put in your application. We'll see if I'd be interested in working with you. DM me, hit me up, whatever you like.
So I think, Frankie, what I'll kind of fast forward, I'm going to skip around a little bit. I remember in 2019, bro, I got back in the field. Remember when I did it last time? I don't know if you remember, but I got back in the field in 2019 after I had been out of the field. I got out of the field in the end of 2016. So that whole setup was there. I sold full time, and I'm really proud of this dude. I might have been one of the later ones to get figured out at FFL, but I was the second one at FFL out of the field when we weren't allowed to get out of the field. And I was only second by like a couple weeks, because I learned not only how to make enough money for myself, but I started teaching it at a really basic, simple level. And if you didn't do the core things, I just was like, dude, you're going to be broke. Why are you asking me questions? Because none of the questions matter if you don't do what it takes. And I'll say I have a whole talk on it, so I won't go too deep into it. It's on my YouTube page, and I did it. And if anyone wants to, if you can't find it, it's really easy to find. But I did it in July. It's on my YouTube. I did it at the 8% conference. But the main 4 pillars that I teach is, if you can't figure out lead flow, number 1, lead flow is the key to everything. If you can't figure out lead flow, and I teach it in this order. This is the order in which I teach how to do this business. Lead flow, number 1. You have to have lead flow figured out. And be honest, dude, it's always a moving target. It's a little bit of a bitch to figure out. It changes with time. It's always going to evolve. There's no master. There's no magic lead. It's just not how it works. But you've got to have lead flow down. If you don't have constant people to speak to coming into your world, this will be inconsistent. That I know for sure. Number 2 is work, and defined work. Money-making activity, 40 hours of prospecting and presenting. 40 hours of prospecting and presenting. I give myself credit for 1 minute per phone call. I used to give myself credit for an hour presentation, but on the phone, I've learned it don't take anywhere near that. So y'all do you. Meaning if you're making 600 phone calls a week, do the math. You can fit, it's 10 hours. If you're doing 20 presentations at an hour, it's 20 hours. And everywhere I go, dude, I'm like, how many people are doing more than 20 presentations a week? It's almost no one. So meaning if you're presenting 10 hours a week on telesales, especially funnel expense, dude, they're like 30 minutes a pop. So if you're presenting 10 times a week, you only worked 5 hours presenting. Does that make sense? So I'm a nerd with math. 40 hours prospecting and presenting. Nothing else counts. Unless you're recruiting, that'll give you extra credit. prospecting and presenting 40 hours. So this doesn't count. This ain't part of your 40 hours. This is like training, going to night school, right? Calling the carriers, that shit don't count. Reading your script 17 times, that don't count. Organizing your CRM, that don't count. Printing leads, that don't count. Calling Frankie, that don't count. 40 hours prospecting and presenting, or it will be inconsistent. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is training, meaning work on your craft. Everywhere I go, dude, I'm like, people that are bad, I'm like, do you listen to your own recordings? No one does, dude. I'm like, you don't work on your own skill set? That'd be like an athlete not watching film and seeing where they went wrong on the field. It makes no sense to me whatsoever that y'all don't record your stuff and listen to it and compare it to what we say on the trainings, right? And then number 4 is coaching, meaning getting help from someone, right? Hey, I did this, and here's what I listened to on my call, and here's what you said, and it didn't work out, and da-da-da. Hey, Frankie, this is what I tried. It didn't quite work. Hey, what would you do here? Now, what's the problem, Frankie, with those 4? Everyone wants it in reverse order. They want the coaching first because they don't want to train. They want you to give them the answer. Then they want to train so they don't have to do the work. And then they limp in or don't buy leads at the end. They want that to be last. Everyone wants to do this thing in reverse order, dude. And I'm like, nah, dude. Lead flow, 40 hours of the right work, training on your own, then coaching. That's how it works. That's the only way this thing works for me. It doesn't work any other way. I don't know how to make it work any other way, bro. You know, I'm being real. If you ain't doing your own training, I ain't your guy to call for coaching. You ain't gonna like me. I promise you that. Like, you don't fit, like, again, you got people been here 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and they don't know basic underwriting guides, dude. They don't know their agent numbers. They don't know what carriers do. They don't, like, what are we doing? You want to be rich and you don't study your craft? I just find it confusing, dude. And be clear, I was one of them. That's why I scream it from the rooftop, right? So I think if you get those things down in order and you master those, you'll mess up and make money, right? So I say all that to say, I figured that out those first 2 years. I started teaching it that way. We blew up, dude. I got to 7 figures on my own pen in income without writing on my own pen in 2017, 2018, 2019, all 7-figure years. 2018, Facebook leads come out. Remember when that started?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, bro. And you would think that the world was going to end in insurance. Everyone was like, insurance is over. There's no more money in insurance. We can't make money in insurance anymore because direct mail was kind of getting watered down. And Facebook digital leads were becoming a thing. And I remember, dude, a guy that you would know if I said his name, but I'll be nice today. I didn't say his name, but he was in my group, and he would pop off to me sometimes and be like, you don't know. You didn't call Facebook leads. You only worked in the field. You had the easy leads. And after hearing that a couple times, I got pissed, and I called his buddy who made the leads for him in his group. And I was like, yo, get me leads. And I went back in the field that Monday. And over the course of the next 3 weeks, working only like 9 to 5, dude, final expense in the field, issued like 20 something grand, barely doing this on Facebook leads, right? Everyone from that point forward never complained again. And our business went from, we did $1 million. That January 2019 was the first month we hit $1 million. By the end of 19, we were doing $2.5 million. Meaning leading from the front does something for those of y'all that are trying to figure that out. Do 3 weeks, bro, showing that it can be done. We blew up, like blew up. And that's when integrity came. I signed at the end of 2019. I became official and I signed the LOI at the end of 2019. We official in 2020. All right. So now we fast forward to this year. And now people are trying to convince me that telesales is hard, dude. And I want to take like some people nicely, none of the females, no one with kids, not a single mom, but I do want to take people and I want to smash their head against the wall. Because I'm like, dude, there are people that are looking for insurance. And I've had a couple people be like, well, you don't know, you didn't do it. How do you present without booking an appointment? I'm like, you know the part where you say, hey, are you available tomorrow at 2 or 4? Just don't say that part. The rest is exactly the same. There's nothing different about the presentation. Literally nothing. If you're used to booking appointments or one, I was like, so anyway, a few people popped off and I'm like, all right, well, give me some leads, bro. So I start getting leads and I ain't done this. Dude, I've never done an e-app. I don't know anything about underwriting in it. Dude, I haven't sold full time in 10 years. I don't know nothing about nothing. I don't know who the carriers are. I don't log into the portals. I don't know one thing about how any of that shit works. Straight up. So I was like a newbie, bro. I get in the field the end of 2017, or the end of September, sorry, end of September, just 8-10 weeks ago. And so far, since then, I've issued 81,359 bucks. Basically October and November, the first 2 weeks of December. So 10 weeks, all telesales. Now now it's catching on social. People are seeing it and like, what the hell are you doing? Whatever. And almost every message I get, dude, do you know what they ask?
What type of lead you using?
Bro, every mother effing one of them. That's the question. And my response to every single person who asked me, I apologize if you're one that asked me. I say, all the ones that you say suck is what I'm ordering. Bro, I have closed. That's all I've done. To literally was just to prove people wrong. I've closed ILC leads. I've closed GOAT leads. I've called call-in leads. I've closed age leads. I've called referrals. I've called vets. I've called regular final. And I've only done, this is only final expense. I've not done a mortgage lead, an IUL lead, an annuity, nothing. This is straight final expense, dude. And I'm ordering the cheap final expense leads, bro. I ain't even going with them exclusive, golden, shiny. I ain't messing with none of that, dude. $18 to $20 final expense leads, bro. I'm getting 50 a week, and I'm throwing some age stuff into the mix. And it's like 82 grand, and there's not one lead type that kills it. I've sold about the same amount roughly with every lead type. None are magically better than the others. It's just now activity. What are the numbers? Bro, I'm talking to a lot more people than most. I had something like, I think last time I looked at it, I'm looking at it kind of now. I don't have it fully dialed in, but it's close. I've scheduled like a little over 200 appointments. This is without one call close attempts, because I've been trying to figure out, some people book appointments, some do one call closes. So I'm playing with both, right? I've booked 200. Plus I've done like probably, I don't know, maybe 100 one call close attempts. I've only presented to 100 people. So nearly 2/3 are not showing up for John Wetmore. Okay? Just is what it is. Dude, I'm at 50. Let me look. I sold 2 more today. I'm at 51 applications for 82K. All right. And it's been like, I think total leads has probably been, I'm getting like mostly like 50 a week, $1,000 a week or whatever. Nothing crazy. At the beginning, I was trying to toy with a few extra, but it's been, I think when I did the math the other day, I'm closing under 10% of the leads I receive. Is over 5% under 10. It's like 7.5% of the lead. Meaning if I receive 100 leads, I'm only closing 7. Right? Now my total lead spend, people go, what did you spend? Now I've overspent a little bit because I've tried a bunch of different things. So I've spent 20 grand. I've made 82. I think last time I looked, whoever said 93 no's. I've had at least 93 no's, bro. Much less. I get told no left and right, but I don't give a rip. Why? Because they still pay me. I still get paid. My close ratio is like 40%. Dude, but I'm 4x'd my money in 10 weeks. I don't need to be the number one close guy. People go, I had a lot of no-shows. All right, how many? I think I had 32 last week. How many do you have? And be clear, if I do my own math, Frankie, if I take my book and do the dial a minute, the presentation, my math comes, I'm doing it in 16 hours a week, bro. If I count 1 minute per dial, and I'm still, my spreadsheet, a lot of y'all have it, the tracker, I haven't updated it yet. It still counts as an hour presentation. So when I do my own math, your boy ain't doing 40 hours of this thing. First month in, I decided to start building a new base shop maybe like 6 months ago, bro. And my base shop did 14,000 for the whole month of May, direct to me. We're at I think we're at three something in November. Right? So I roll out a retirement cell. I was the number one producer in my base shop, dude, the first month. I've been at the top of the leaderboard week in and week out. And I'm like, y'all got to be embarrassed. Y'all got to be. How am I making more? And it's not because, now, is there a skill set thing there? Yeah, if you did the math, 50 apps, 82 grand, my average AP is high. I ain't your $800 AP guy. Why? I show the most they're eligible for every time. Every time. I show the most you're eligible for is 50K, 40K, whatever, depending on the carrier, naturally. I show that every single time. I don't go 5 grand is this, then 10 grand is this, then 15 grand, 8, 10, 12. I don't do none of that stuff. I learned that a long time ago. That don't work. Yes, by the way, for those that are wondering, I use this thing right here, this cell phone right here, like that little sucker. I just pick it up and I dial. Now, have I tried a dialer? Yes. Can I make more phone calls with a dialer? Yes. Does anyone pick up? No, not for me. This works like fucking magic though. This gets me more than anything. They're all on Zoom. All of them are recorded. I do this live in my Discord every day. If anyone wants to watch, you can come join it. It's free. There's nothing there. We put all the stuff on YouTube. I got the videos out. All of it's recorded, Frankie, because I made the mistake of the first time around in the field. I didn't record nothing. So there's no proof of it other than leaderboard. You know, social wasn't what it is today back then. So we don't have that. So this time I'm like, if you go to johnwetmore.com/discord, johnwetmore.com/discord, you can get in mine. I don't know my username, to be honest. Discord's weird. It's my young little 20-something-year-old agents and office guy, they set it all up. They just told me that's what the cool kids use. So I said, set it up. I'll go live wherever you want. So I don't understand the names and the weird nicknames. I don't know how any of that works. But johnwetmore.com/discord, it'll get you in. If you decide you want to dial with us, we have to give you a little bit more access, but that will let you watch. So if y'all want more access, like Clint was in dialing with us the other day, which was awesome. So for me, what I will say, Frankie, is I have certainly learned how to take some skill set and get bigger premium. Why? Dude, I replaced a lot of policies, bro. I think like 40% of my sales are policy replacements. I've learned that on telesales, dude, nobody asks jack shit about the current policies. And when they do find out about the current policies, they somehow and for some reason believe the client and think that they're all set. Dude, I'm on the phone on three-way with insurance companies every single day. Every single day, dude. I get on three-way. I find out they got a policy. I'm like, hey, how much you got? How long you had it? What's the cost? Many of them either make something up or don't know or half know. Dude, I get on the phone and I let the carrier tell them what it really is, whether it's expiring or going away or it's a term or whatever. I could do a whole training with that. But there's a lot of opportunity that a lot of y'all are skipping over. Most people I'm learning, dude, aren't doing a proper financial inventory at all. They aren't doing much of anything, so that's leaving me a ton of opportunity, dude. I'm putting people in way better spots. And I love y'all know what the average agent out there that's calling leads, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good they are? The average agent is trash. So we're calling behind, statistically, someone who sucks at this. And the second they hear, like, I have neuropathy, they run to guaranteed issue. You know what I mean? I had a heart issue, guaranteed issue. Y'all know the carriers out there cover heart stuff like yesterday. Like yesterday. Bro, congestive heart failure, dude? You can cover that now? Like, what? That did not exist back in the day. Bro, you can be diabetic, neuropathy, and have a heart attack and still get day one coverage. What are we talking about? Why are y'all writing so much guaranteed issue out there? I can't wrap my head around it, dude. And now in today's world, bro, dude, you can I do this. I think a lot of people are afraid of it, bro. But one of the hacks that I'm doing, dude, that's really simple. I don't quote before I get their social and stuff. I get their social and I run underwriting and then I give quotes. I get an approval before I give pricing. Not soft check, hard check. One of them carriers, it's a real approval. It ain't no soft check. One's a soft check, one's a real check. If they're pretty healthy, I'll do the soft check guy. If they're not really healthy and they'll take a little bit sickness day one, I go there. And bro, that's been like money for me. And that gets me out of the objection sooner. So if they're going to give me the social objection, I get it 6 minutes in instead of 36 minutes in. I'd rather have it now than later.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my presentation's a short, dude. I'm finding out a quick why. I'm finding out their health stuff. I'm grabbing their social. I'm doing an underwrite. I'm in someone's social and into underwriting in under 10 minutes. You know, and then it takes me 15, 20 minutes to wrap up the application and say my niceties and move on. And I'm saying, like,
can you explain a little bit why it's so important to do the proper financial inventory? What that does for you with the client, the relationship, and all the above? Because I agree with you 1,000,000%.
Yeah, it gives you so much information, man. Like, it's like, can you imagine walking into a doctor's office and they don't ask you nothing about your health before they go, here, take this. Do you want this pill or this pill? All right, thanks for coming in, Crystal. Do you want this pill or that pill? I won't name pills because it'll get weird. But you know what I mean? Like, which pills do you want? It'd be like, but don't you want to know what's wrong with me first? It'd be really awkward. You know, I think for me, it's a lot of common sense, but I think agents are like weirdly scared. So I think what they're missing is the setting expectations part. So I think they know they need to ask. I'm guessing that people are uncomfortable with it. And then maybe the client sounds somewhat confused on why they need that information. So I'm seeing that a lot where clients go, what's that have to do with anything? Well, dude, if you didn't explain why you got to ask the information, it is going to be weird. You're the dummy that didn't tell them up front. You know? So for me, it's like, all right, Frankie, and again, we can do whatever level of presentation you want, but hey, it looks like you filled out this thing for some insurance, yada, yada. I guess give me a little rundown, dude, of what you were thinking. Do you have any insurance now, or are we working with nothing at all? That's always my first question. And when they go nothing at all, I go, oh, damn. Why not? You been real sick or you just been putting it off? I never get I've been real sick. Almost ever. Sometimes I get some health issues. The majority of the time they say I've been putting it off. So, all right, Frankie, what's got you decided to not stop putting it off today? What changed? Something happened in life? You start getting stories, dude. This time of year especially, those of y'all afraid to sell during holidays, dude, people get holidays objections and they lose their mind. I'm like, you know what's 10x more powerful than worrying about holiday objections? Think about your own lives. You've all seen people at Thanksgiving and Christmas parties the last few weeks, right? And a majority of those people you haven't seen since last year. How many of the people you've seen are healthier and better looking and in better shape than they were last year? Or are they all older and sicker? And some of them dead. There's some people at last year's party that ain't at this year's party. Fair? And there's some people walking with a limp and a cane this year that weren't last year. And there's some people with heart issues this year that didn't have it last year. So these folks are seeing stuff this time of year, like at a really high level. So when I go like, did something happen in your life that triggered this today? Dude, I'm getting all kinds of stories about people dying. All kinds of stories. That's the best why you're going to get. And I know that's not the financial inventory question, but it leads to it, right? So for me, I'm finding out that there. And again, do you have none or not? And then if they do have some, Frankie, I'm like, all right, you have some. I go, all right, so what made you figure out that it's not enough? Did something happen in life? It's the same question. I just reword it. You know what I mean? Either way, they're coming to me for something. And so I get them talking and they give you the why. Now, some don't. I get it. Dude, I'd probably hang up on them and move on. Who cares? You know, because again, numbers game.
If you're in the insurance space and trying to build an agency, or you're trying to like break records in sales, just hit new levels, new heights, click the link below to apply to my consulting and coaching program that I have out there. I'm helping tons of people get to new levels, get to new income heights, help them build their teams, put systems in place, staffing stuff, recruiting processes, automations, and just teaching people how to get to a point where they're selling on their own pen, 30, 40, 50 grand a month. And if they're building a team, teaching how to have an effective structure to your insurance agency for the most profitability you can. There is an application process. I'm only looking to work with like high-end people who really want to make big things happen. A couple recent clients that we've had in the coaching program. One dude as an individual went from selling like 8 grand a month, barely getting by, about to quit the industry, found the book, hit me up direct, started a coaching program, went to 35K his first month, has issued like 150K in the last 90 days, and has changed the trajectory of his career. Working with another agency builder, very first month went from doing like 800 grand a month to almost 1.1 million. We added like 10 or 15% production in 30 days and continue to work on things there. So if you're interested, click the link, apply, and if you're fit, I'll reach out.
So for me, from there, dude, I think as I start going, they give me a little bit of like why we're talking. I go, all right, Frankie, well, here's what we got to do. I got to run through some like personal questions, some health questions, because what we do, I work with like the top 40 insurance companies in the country. And I'm actually going to like figure out not only what you're eligible for, but once I figure this thing out with some questions, it's going to pop up on my screen, all the options for you. That way you don't have to do calls like this like 25 times to figure out the best deal. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
And they go, oh, yeah, great. I'm like, yeah, I know you don't want to do this a bunch. So again, I'm going to go through some health stuff and some personal stuff real quick, just so I can some of these carriers, they have limitations, right? So do you have any insurance now? And how much do you have? Because not all of them allow you to, which is true. You can't go to each carrier and get as much as you want, right? So I just put it out there. Right. So I think if you start framing why you're asking a question, it allows the person to openly give you more information about their policy. Why do I need to know about their policy? Because the insurance companies have limitations. They only let you get so much. So how much you got now? Right. I can use that with banking. And I will get to your financial inventory thing. But when you start prefacing banking thing, because I know that's going to be an issue, and I don't do it early, but I use this at the right point. I go, hey, so Frankie, as I'm going to look around at these different companies, man, it's a lot like stores, man. You ever been to a store where like some accept cash, some don't, some take Amex, some don't? Well, the insurance companies work the same way. All of them take a checking or savings account. Not all of them accept that Social Security card. Do you have both, or are you only working with the Social Security card? Dude, they'll tell you like that. It's an easier way to find out what they got going on. So I know down the road what I'm working with. Right? And then I think for me, man, the financial inventory, again, I preface it that I got to ask the stuff. I mean, dude, most of these people, again, certainly if you're working vets, they got a couple sources of income, but basic final expense, they got Social Security. So I go, you working, retired, or disabled? Bro, 75% of them say disabled. Let's be real. Most of y'all probably aren't asking that question, but 75% of them say they're disabled. I go, all right, got it. I assume you're on Social Security income? Yep. How much they sending you every month? They tell you the amount. All right. Any other sources of income? Is that it? Nope. That's it. All right. So fixed income, you're working on a budget. I got it. Makes sense. So I'm going to work with all these different companies, find you the best deal. Is that cool? And just lots of soft checks, dude. Lots of soft checks. I can certainly go do the old school. Do you got anything else that when you die that acts like life insurance, any retirement, 401ks, IRAs, things like that? The reality is, dude, a lot of them don't, especially on a low level final expense deal, but you find some. You know, I wrote a single premium. One of them was a single premium deal. They had some money. So I wrote one of those. That was cool. I didn't know the commission on that sucker. Holy moly. Yeah. That was like 16, 18%, something crazy like that. I was like, boom. 30 something grand, dude, pay me like 6 G's. So yeah, for me, it's the framing of it, right? So once the framing of it and they go, all right, cool. You can ask the questions. Here's my income. Here's my situation. Here's my current insurance. Here's the story on why I'm looking. Now I'm like, all right, Frankie, well, here's what I'm going to do next. And I kind of prefaced it earlier. All right, I'm actually going to get a little bit more of your personal information. I'm actually going to pull your medical stuff now. That way I can see what you're eligible for. I can get you an approval. And then we'll work on pricing and budget and all that stuff in just a few minutes. Is that cool? Dude, they say yes. I go, all right. And dude, I'm in the app at this point. I got the app open. I plug it in and you do the basic stuff. Name, give me your address. You U.S. citizen? Yes. Were you born in, I assume you were born in Maryland, or were you born somewhere else? Nope, Maryland. All right. Can you verify your social? That's it. I don't get that deep. I don't get into this long drawn out why I need your social thing. I already told them I need all their stuff, and at this point, dude, I'm 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes in and I'm getting their social, bro. And then from there, I mean, you have an underwrite in 2 minutes. And you know what I mean? It's like, and I go like, hey, this morning I had to go, holy shit, you got an approval. Cause I did not, she had lupus and she had a heart issue. And I didn't know. I mean, I went through the underwriting guide real quick to double check. But damn, day one coverage, she was fine. Hey, talk about timing of calling people. Because I always say, man, you're only one phone call away from the next person picking up and just needing life insurance. And this has never happened
Right.
to me that I can think of specifically, mostly because I haven't done telesales, but it's recorded and I'm going to put this one out soon. I called this lady, bro. First of all, 3 dials, she doesn't pick up. I'm going to give you some sauce here too. I'm about to release something cool with it, but I'm going to give you a cheat code. 4th dial, FaceTime audio. If you ain't doing FaceTime audio calls, it's a game changer. Dude, it breaks through do not disturb. It breaks through block number. That will ring. So the 4th call to this lady was FaceTime audio. She picks up 73-year-old while she's driving. She starts telling me she needs something with her estate. Someone died, put her on a house. She just needs to know if she's going to be in trouble for the house, yada, yada. I don't need insurance, blah, blah, blah. And so I start talking about her. And anyway, I maneuver into, hey, do you have anything in place when you die that someone, to make sure that no one loses the house, whatever. I just throw something out there to try to get her on my course. And she goes, I had a policy with True Stage back in October. And it's one of these where they tell this long drawn out story and they just chat forever. And she goes, I had a policy with True Stage and it lapsed and it didn't go through. And I'm actually driving over to the insurance company's office now because it's taken 2 months and it hadn't got it in place for me yet. So I'm headed over there right now to get my insurance. I was like, nah, pull over. I got you. Dude, 73-year-old lady pulled over on the side of the road. I wrote her app. This the same lady with the lupus and heart issue. Right of the app on the side of the road. I was like, all right, you don't have to go to your insurance office now. Go run some errands. And she paid today, got it taken care of. That's really it, dude, in a nutshell, is just, can you do that? Can you try to talk to 40, 50 people a week? Attempt to. Can you get, I don't know, 15, 20 minimum to pick up the phone? You know what I mean? And can you, and which is only a few a day, 3, 4, 5 a day. You know what I mean? If you do that 3, 4, 5 times a day and you ask the right questions and set them up the right way, dude, a decent amount of them are just going to be like, yeah, I need some insurance. I'm not having to fight a ton. Now, can I overcome some objections? Yep, I'm pretty good at it. Yeah, can I push some people at the end when they don't want to make a decision? Yep, I'm pretty good at it. I got good at it. Why? Dude, I've run so many more appointments than most of y'all. It gets easier. And unfortunately, y'all want easy before you do the work. And there's nothing in life that works with. I told a girl yesterday, she's like, I'm just the type of person that needs to be good at it before I do it. I was like, wait, say that out loud again. I said, hold on, do me this. I want you right now. Name the top 5 things in your life that you were amazing at before you did them. She was like, well, when you word it like that, I'm like, you worded it like that. You know what I mean? Like, people do want to be good at this before they do it. And I just think that if you're struggling, that's normal. But why are you struggling and doing it less? That's not going to work. And if you've been trying that route, can you just do me this one favor? Can you just try it my way? Just try it. Just try to make 500 phone calls a day for the entire next month. No matter what they say, even if 499 pick up and tell you to F off, just go try 500 a day. Now, if you're presenting a bunch of times, you might only make 300 phone calls. All good. Try to hit 40 hours prospecting and presenting. Just do it for 30 days. And then you DM me directly 30 days from now and go, I did 40 hours a week of prospecting and presenting, which is going to be a couple thousand phone calls a week and or 20, 30 presentations a week. Some combination there. I promise you, if you do that for the next 30 days and you send me a DM and like I did it and I didn't issue over 20K, I promise I'll coach you directly myself for free. I'll just do it because I do.
Oh, hell.
I will teach you how to do it, but you have to put in those numbers. You just have to. And if you're like, how? I'm like, stop doing all the other crap you're doing when you're not doing the prospecting and presenting. You've got to quit doing all the other crap. You've got to stop overthinking it. You've got to stop projecting negative things. And I'll end with this, Frankie, and let you ask questions because I got time if you want to hang.
Okay.
When you go like, what if? And all that negative shit comes out of your mouth or goes through your head. What if they yell at me? What if it don't work out? What if da da da? What if da da da? Fair to say all that stuff we're 100% sure is made up. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
It's 100% made up. Okay. If we're going to make up stuff, for the love of God, can you just make up good stuff? You're making it up anyway. So can we go, what if they pick up and they pull over on the side of the road and buy some insurance? It couldn't possibly be any easier. I closed a 73-year-old sitting at my office in between 4 appointments while she was in her car, Frankie, in another state. She was in Louisiana, bro. And I didn't move from my chair. We can't. And then, dude, I remember me and Killamet used to joke, bro, back in the day. Dude, the only way this thing could get any easier is if they called us. Holy shit. File's got that figured out now, too. Bro, I had like 5 people call me this weekend. I'm like, you can't make this up. Y'all can't. This can't be any easier. The reality is, if you're failing in this business, I promise you're not working hard. I promise you are. And if you believe you are, you've convinced yourself of a lie. And I need you to tell yourself the truth. I need you to look yourself in the mirror and look at the top 5 things that you absolutely know you're doing that you should stop doing. We all have them. You can all come up with 5 things that you do every day or every week that you know you should quit doing. Yet you keep doing them, and then you keep bitching to Frankie while you're broke. And to me, that math don't math, dude. And I'm one of the most broken humans ever. Read the book, follow me. Dude, I share it openly. I'm a shit show. I'm negative as all get out. But I control it and I don't let it linger. You know, and I just follow the process, man. And I work on getting better. Dude, I don't even have to be doing this. And you know how hard it is to dial when you don't have to dial? Well, I don't even have to do it. Do you know how hard it is to dial then? And I'm still smoking people, dude. And I ain't issuing 400 something grand a month like that damn leaderboard. But compared to the average Joe, like, who would be mad at writing 40 grand? Dude, I wrote 22 or something like that Thanksgiving week. I sold up. Hey, by the way, all y'all mother effers that think that you can't close on a holiday. I wrote one on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. Yeah, hell yeah, I did, bro. I did it to prove a point. 100% wrote one on Thanksgiving Day. We had 2 people in my group do it. We were live on dials on Discord Thanksgiving Day, and 2 of us wrote an app that day.
And nobody doing nothing in the morning? Watching a parade?
Dude, and funny, it was at like 6 o'clock at night too, bro. Mine. I was dialing in the morning. I didn't work anything out, but the one I closed was like at 6 p.m. Thanksgiving evening. That one will come out too. Y'all will see all kinds of stuff on social soon. Wow, what's up,
Dude,
bro?
I just want to say, like, I want y'all to understand, and I'm looking at some of the questions, and I'll read some, what I would be asking John is, dude, how did you get so good at your demeanor, your posture, your word tracks? Because I could give him the phone book, and he could call the phone book, and I guaranteed he'd have success, because it's not about anything else other than the confidence in what he's saying, how he's saying it, the word tracks he's using, and it's very non-abrasive and chill. Like but again, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes so much time to get to that level, which is why he's hounding on the activity. That's the only way you can get to where he's at, is to do it thousands and thousands and thousands of times.
Hey, combined with the training, it's a combo, dude. So like when you mess up, I'll give a, hey, Leticia, I ain't seen you crack a smile yet, girl. So I'm about to tell you a story. I know you're going to crack one now. I'll never forget, bro. I don't know what the hell I said, but I said something. Do you remember back in the day in the old school shitty roach infested office we had? And I said something to you, and it sure as shit pissed you off. And you were mad at me one day, like a lot. And I was like, well, that fucking line didn't work. I better tweak what I say. You know what I mean? And so I say that to say, when I say things, bro, I watch the reaction and I listen to the reaction I receive. And when it doesn't go the way I want and the way I anticipate, I work on the way I say it and deliver it. I work on me more than anything because I can't change the lead necessarily, but I can change the way they hear things. I can change the way they feel. I can change. I can control that. You know, I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, dude, not only with clients, but with agents. And it just is what it is.
Sure.
It's just like, dude, what do you want me to do? I'm imperfect. Like, welcome to the crowd. So I think for me, I still do a lot of training on it, dude. I watch my own stuff. I watch every time I give a talk, I watch it. When I'm listening, when I'm trying to figure out sales stuff, I'm tweaking some things based on the reactions I'm getting from the client. And I'm like, oh, damn, they sure as shit don't like when you ask for the social if you don't set that thing up right. Got it. Let me maneuver it different. And so I just try stuff and I give examples and analogies. And I've just learned, dude, setting the stage as to why. And again, y'all don't have to recreate that stuff. You can steal it from us, but you're mostly just not paying attention. You're just getting the objection. You're mad and you're like, you text file and go, shitty lead. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, bro. Maybe shitty agent. Maybe. Sorry. But go ahead if you got some questions, dude.
Let me try to read through.
Yeah. Let's see.
Dude, this is blowing up. And dude, I've watched you from the beginning, and I can't you by far. I don't
Hey,
know.
I'm just gonna say
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but dude, you are like the people that try and give advice on social media. You're one that I'm like, yeah, you need to be doing it because it's good. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate what you do and continue to do for us.
Hey, Frank.
You're a huge blessing to us.
Frank.
Who is that?
This is Mike.
Oh God, I didn't see your face. Okay, I was like, I thought I muted everybody. Whatever.
Hey,
Go ahead.
I want to let you know that sweatshirt that John has on, I highly recommend everyone get it. It is the softest damn sweatshirt in the world. All of his clothes, I mean, his t-shirt, everyone. Go to John's store because his clothes are about as awesome as he is. Them damn shirts are so soft. Good Lord.
I bought them for myself. I used to buy, if for those that have been following me for a long time, dude, I used to always wear like nobody cares, work harder, all those kind of shirts. I would always get caught by the Instagram ads and I would buy them. And then I'd get them, dude. You try to put your arm in, it's like cardboard. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what the hell? And it drove me crazy, dude. So I went and found where they got the good stuff and I just started putting my own shit on it. And then people started asking for it. So it's not cheap because this shits are expensive.
Hey,
I get me one of those.
I have to agree with Frank. John, I'm always on your TikTok and watching things and sharing things. Your training is just so simple from years ago. Just make it so easy to where you're like, man, he just makes it sound so much easier than it is because it is. So I appreciate you, man. And I appreciate your clothes, brother. Yeah. I went shopping on his website, so I highly recommend it.
Hey, I've seen a few people mention the book. It is on Amazon. If you get it on the website, though, I sign it and send out a bunch of extra goodies with it, too.
You're definitely going to want a signed copy. Yeah, trust me.
Amazon, it won't come signed and you won't get no extra shit. But my team sends all kinds of extra stuff. I think I lose money on it, but I literally hand sign every one of them because I think it's crazy that people buy it. I think it's weird I have a book, to be honest, but I love it.
So here's a question. You already answered this, but I'll ask it. You're only doing military final expense or it doesn't really matter what final expense?
I don't give a rip, dude. Like I've done both. I'll be straight up, dude. I've sold way more at a basic level final expense than the vet ones. Not because the vet are bad. I have no problem with the $18 and $20 ones, dude. Files recurring stuff. What are they, 18, 19 bucks a lead on a recurring order or something like that?
Yeah, that's what it was.
I mean, come on, bro. I don't, there ain't no magic yeah, dude, I'm just, give me the basic stuff and let me make a bunch of money. I don't need to be complicated. Again, nothing wrong with the vets, but I don't need that as a crutch to sell a bunch.
Yeah, I agree. All right. John, you ran the play. When do you know to run it audible? When do you know when to hit that wall or bounce back? I'm not sure. Like, what do you give up? Do you just hang up? When do you move on? When do you change up what you're trying to do? Like, is there a point or something that they might say to kind of have you shift in what you're trying to accomplish?
I guess that's the question. Bro. Here's what I'm a big believer in. Like, I had someone ask me, I'll give you a couple examples. I had someone ask me if I leave voicemails the other day. And I'm like, no, I mean, I can. I don't think they're ever going to call back. But the real reason I don't leave a voicemail, dude, let's say I have a regular dial day. Let's say you make 300 phone calls. How many are going to go to voicemail? Roughly.
Most, probably 70%, 80%, 90%.
So let's say 200 go to voicemail. Do you know how motherfucking long it takes to leave 200 voicemails? Do you know how many more people I could call? The math don't math for me on like what percentage are going to actually listen to the voicemail. Hey, this is John calling about the final expense. Like, come on, dude. And then it takes me 30 seconds to leave a voicemail. If I leave 100 voicemails a day, that takes me an hour to leave voicemails. I'd rather just call more people, bro.
What up, y'all? So YouTube memberships, we have one now. Right next to the subscribe button, there's a neon white join button. You can't miss it. Subscribe, whatever it says, click the link, get in there. I do a ton of coaching, teaching people how to dial, corrections, working on their presentations, working on their mindset. I will coach on theory, but I like coaching real world stuff. And if you join the membership section, you're gonna see live coaching where I'm not only helping people, but every once in a while I get in there and dial myself. There's some cool videos coming out, tons of content.
All of the training videos will be directly on my YouTube channel. That's available to members only. Super easy to find.
So join now if you're interested. Click below. See you in there.
Right. So for me, the same concept. I was on with an agent this morning, and he was on with a lady who was steaming mad, bro. He was calm mostly, but he was trying to get into a bicker fest. You filled it out. Your middle name's this. Yeah, but I don't need it. Yeah, but how much you got? And they went back and forth for 12 minutes, dude. Earlier today, the same day, I had a guy, and again, on video, we'll release it. I talked to a guy, he ain't got no life insurance, just got married a year ago. His wife's got 400 grand. He's got nothing. So if he dies, she gets nothing. I go, all right, makes sense. You want to take care of the wife, yada, yada, all makes sense, blah, blah. Why you got nothing? He's like, just been a while, been putting it off. Come to find out, dude spent like 12 years in prison. He's been out like 15 years. Spends 12 years in prison. We start going through the stuff, and he's like, yeah, man, I just, I need to take care of this. I've been thinking about it. Holidays. I need to pull the trigger, man. Almost like a complete laydown. He's just like, yo, I need insurance. So I do my thing. All right, bro. I got to get some information. We do all that. We get to the part where I go, all right, I'm actually just going to pull your medical record. That way I know what I can get you, and we're going to give you some pricing, yada, yada. Hey, can you verify your social? He goes, nope. Just like that, dead face. I went, bro, I can't get you insurance without your social. He went, all right, I'm not giving my social. I went, all right, have a good day. And I hang up and I called the next lead. You know who the next lead was? The 73-year-old lady that was on the way to her insurance office that pulled on the side of the road. I don't fight a lot, dude, especially early. The later it is, the more I'll push because I have ammo. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I got to check with my wife. I go, hey, let me ask you a question, Frankie. Didn't you say you needed to do this for your wife? Yep. Hey, dude. Well, let's not make your wife the reason why you don't do it then. You know you need to pull the trigger on this, bro. Dude, that line works. So I'm not a big fighter late or early. I'm not a big fighter early. So if I'm getting pushback, if I'm getting, I didn't do it, again, can I overcome that stuff? I'll give a shot or two. But I ain't begging, dude. And I'm not wasting 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes on the phone with someone that's just, I say arm wrestling me. You know what I mean? If there's a lot of friction and they aren't really just showing me why they need insurance, and again, I don't need it to be a cakewalk, but if they aren't giving me info, if they're like, keep going, like, why do you need it? I just don't understand why you need this. Dude, I'm out. I hang up on more people to hang up on me. I promise you. I just do. Because I always picture, dude, there's someone literally right now sitting down on their couch. Bro, you can't call me 9 times in a row, bro. I'm not a fucking lead. Holy shit. It's a fucking agent that don't sell, by the way. If you're watching, I love you. I literally picture y'all have leads in your CRM, in your paper, in your Google Sheet, whatever it is y'all use. There's literally a name and a phone number right now that is a complete fucking laydown that you just refuse to call. You all have them. Every one of you has them. There's cash sitting in your list right now. And I just don't let the previous stuff stop me from getting to the next person sitting on their couch waiting for my phone call. I just refuse, dude. It's too easy. So for me, it's easier to just move on than fight, dude. Again, I'll push some, but I'm not your guy that's going to be arguing with someone for 47 minutes about it. I just don't care, quite frankly.
And you know what? This is the same way John built his agency. He's not fighting with agents either.
Mm-mm.
He's working with the ones that are easiest to work with. Hence, he gives them instruction or advice. They take it. They're on live dials, actively call it. Like, this isn't that complicated. We are the ones that complicate the hell out of this thing.
Yeah, you don't need me to complicate it. You want to sit there and complicate it,
for sure.
go alone.
For sure. All right. Dude, I could literally ask you questions for all night, but we try to wrap this up in about an hour. So I do want to ask you one favor. If you could cut a video, 10 minutes of your 4 pillars, so we could put it in our sales academy, unless you already have it.
That is a video. Yeah. Hold on.
That would be amazing, because I think, the way you explain it again and the concept of why it is, it just makes sense.
Let's see if I can find it all on my own and put it. If anyone out there has it, I know y'all are good on fucking video. It's my 8% talk in July. If someone know how to find it quick, I can probably find it in a second.
I did put him on the spot, Jesse. I'm sorry. That's what we do.
I like being on the spot. It's in my YouTube. I just got to find where. But yeah.
And I'll search for it. If it says 4 pillars in there anywhere, I think it should.
Hold on. Yeah, I got it right here. Hold on.
I'm muted. I'm sorry. I just started talking. I didn't know what's muted.
Leticia, Frank.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey, Leticia, how are you?
Hey, Frank. Hey, John.
What's up, girl?
What's up? No, I just wanted to share real quickly how good you are at tricking people to work. Like,
my favorite thing to do.
right? Like when he says that he literally tricks you to work, he literally tricks you to work. Like, I remember when I first started, because, when I first started, John hired me and I wasn't doing that well. And I came into your office.
Sorry. That's the video playing. That's my bad. I hired you while I was at baseball practice with Maddox. I was on the baseball field while he had a game playing. Right.
And I remember talking to you and I was like, why are you just calling me? Like, do you remember me asking you that? And you were like, yep. I'm at practice. Like, I'm at baseball. I'm my kid's game. I'm like, oh, okay, you're good. So then we started talking and I came in and we started working together. And of course, like everyone that just starts in this industry, you kind of slack off. You're not doing anything and you're thinking that you're doing something when you're not really doing nothing. And I got into your office one day and you were like, what are you doing? Pretty much like, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm working really hard. Like, at that point in time, I wasn't really sucking, but I was making some sales. I was okay. It was like, well, what are you doing when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing? I'm like, well, I just be chilling, watching CNN. Like,
oh, I remember this. I used that against you for years.
Yes.
I remember that. Holy
and
shit.
It literally, that day is when things clicked in my head that I really was just sitting at home on the couch, freaking watching CNN when I could be going to work.
Yeah. Simple. That's crazy. Dude, I used that. I remember I don't know where we were, but somebody was like, I made so-and-so amount of phone calls and you were like, give me your cell phone. And you scrolled down and like, I guess iPhones hold 100. Back then it's like 100 list call log. And like, you got not even halfway down and it was like a day ago. And then 2 days ago, he's like, bro, you made like 34 calls, knock it off. I still use that. And then like, I can't remember who that was, but I do remember, God, this was 7-8 years ago. That person after that, like, dude, they just started killing it because you just call their bullshit. And that's what you've been really good at doing and not making people hate you. Now, some do because some people hate the truth. But you know what? If you want the coaching, what I would advise y'all to do, he gave you all a task, 40 hours of activity a week, 40 hours of money-making activity. What? Setting appointments, calling leads, giving presentations.
Prospecting, presenting. Prospecting,
presenting.
That's it. It's not that deep.
Not that deep. You do that for 40 hours a week. Don't make 20 grand a year or a month. In a month, you will get coaching directly from Wetmore. You get coaching directly from Wetmore, there ain't no way you're going to fail. But if you do the 40 hours of prospecting and activity, you're not going to not make 20 grand either. But I would take him up on that challenge. The other thing I would do is I would log into johnwetmore.com/Discord and listen to him. Dude, that's how we all got so good at this, is listening to people. I mean, do you remember the CDs we used to have? We would just over and over and over and over again until you could repeat it word for word. The influxes in his voice and the word tracks, dude, it's how you learn to do this. That would be my advice to you. So, Wetmore, I appreciate you more than you know. I am super excited that you're doing this because, again, I think you are the best trainer in the company, you and Sean. So, mad props to you. You're the man. I appreciate you.
I mean, appreciate y'all.
Guys,
if I can help at all.
I would
let me know.
I would watch this over again. We'll blast it out tonight once it gets edited and y'all can watch it again. But let's make it a huge week. Give John some thanks and love in the chat, and we'll see you all on the recruiting call in about 40 minutes. Wetmore, appreciate you, bro. Love you. Have a great holiday if I don't talk to you before then.
Love you, bro. Appreciate y'all. Later.